Hey guys, my name is Hazel and I help people break their self-sabotage and abandonment triggers so they can heal and embody their authentic selves. So, negative self-talk is very common and unhelpful. If we believe everything that we think about ourselves, we often get stuck in a very unkind and often untrue pattern of thinking, right? And I relate to this because I used to be this person that was everybody's best friend. Like I would be there for anyone who needed a shoulder to cry on. I would hype everybody up and I would push my own needs away for whenever someone needed to call me. My main goal was to make everybody smile, but at the end I forgot to make my own self smile. Myself smile. I put myself last, and because of this self-abandonment, I became my biggest inner critic. But this all changed when I wanted to change the things I attracted in my life. I knew I deserved more, but really deeply, and I knew that change comes from within. And with this realization, I knew it was time to be my own best friend. So these are the 4 ways to stop yourself when you have these negative self-talk. Number 1, how is this thought helpful? This question is very important to ask because a lot of the times when you see the things that are going inside your head, we automatically assume that these thoughts are true. But most of the time they're here to protect you. And if you really cultivate that self-awareness within you and ask yourself, is this thought helping you at the situation? You can decipher if it's needed right now or if it's not. And if it's not, you can push that away and give it energy later. Number 2, what alternate thoughts would be more helpful right now? This is such an integral question to ask yourself because once you decipher if that question is healthy or not, you can go into here and reframe that thought. For example, let's say you're going out your day and you accidentally mess up in work. If your negative inner critic comes at you and starts telling you that you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that, instead of feeding into that thought, you can take a step back and see where the thought is coming from. And then by then you can tell yourself these are the truths instead of these are the lies. Because the reason why the inner critic attacks us is because of the ego. The ego wants to protect us and make us feel safe. So when we're in a vulnerable position, the ego tends to attack our thoughts so we retreat back instead of going forward. But once we look at the inner critic and tell them, no, this is the truth. Just because I messed up at work doesn't mean I will get fired. I'm still loved, I'm still valued, I still did these wins. And once you build that list and look at all the lies you tell yourself, that's when the inner critic will start to shut down because you tell yourself consciously, these are the truths. Number 3, could you say what you're saying right now to the 6-year-old version of you? So what I want you to do is write down all of your thoughts that's coming into you. After that, grab a baby picture of you when you were a kid and put that right beside you. And once you have all those thoughts down, what I want you to do is say those exact words to that person inside the picture. And really visualize yourself saying those words to baby you. And now I'm gonna ask you a question right after. Can you say those words? Can you say those inner critic, negative self-talk words to baby you? Most of the time, we can't. Why? Because that will literally make a kid cry. But guess what? When those thoughts are coming in, you're making yourself cry inside. And that's when disassociation, the disconnect, starts to happen. Therefore, abandonment. We abandoned ourselves so long ago that we feel like it's okay to tell these thoughts, these beliefs into ourselves because we're so used to hurting that part of ourselves. And then that's when we start rerouting and rehealing that connection we had with little you. And then once we start building that bond again, that's when your own boundaries can come easily and so effortlessly. Self-integrity, self-confidence literally just magically come into place. That's why this part is very essential for your healing journey because we start becoming aware of how our thoughts and whatever we're feeding ourselves is either something healthy or something poisonous. And once we can decipher those two, that's when your healing journey becomes a game changer and that's when you excel. Number 4, if someone you loved was talking to themselves this way, what would you say to them? It's easier to say things to another person than actually take our own advice. But then that's when we understand what things we're saying to them and embody that, become that, because that's when you start talking your own walk. And that's when your baby you, starts developing a connection with you because it sees that you're actually living through integrity. When we can balance our self-talk approach from a place of love, we give ourselves permission to end our unhelpful thoughts patterns and find more effective ways of thinking. So I'll be posting YouTube videos every week. If you want to learn more about tips on self-abandonment, self-sabotage, and healing, and transforming your life, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.